Hello, hello. Welcome to Actors Anonymous. I am your host, Sam Quiche. Co-hosting with me, as always, is Mr. Jordan Burbank. How you doing?
Still strong. Still
strong.
Still strong. Still sticking with you.
That's pretty good. One of our guests today is Mr. Anthony Jennings. Some of his current work is Switched at Birth and the critically acclaimed American Sniper.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to talk about perspective today briefly. It is the one thing that can dictate whether you see something in a positive or a negative light. Definitely a double-edged sword. So how do we change our perspective to benefit us? Perspective starts in our core belief on life and the people around us. Our core beliefs can be changed, but only through disciplined daily practice. This is exactly how we develop characters from our scripts. We find their core beliefs from the dialogue and words. From there, we start to develop tactics and subtext from the perspective that our character has on the world. If we want to positively make a great impact on our life in a positive way, our core belief has to be positive as well, but it also has to be realistic. False positivity is just as detrimental as negativity. That was difficult to say. That was difficult to say.
It's a handful.
Don't you agree, or do you disagree, Anthony, on perspective? It has to be based in reality, but also positive.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't have a negative perspective because you're just always gonna be drawing the negative out of things.
Yeah.
And that's you can't win in life when you're looking through that lens.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just to give our listeners a brief history, you're an amputee, and you're an actor.
Yeah.
And what I love about that is you're taking an obstacle and making it and switching it around to benefit you.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about how you've done that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born without a leg, so
Okay.
it was a congenital issue, and so. Man, I just grew up and it was really fun. I mean, there was levels of pain involved. I had it re-amputated, shortened in 5th grade, so that was kind of a big challenge. When you grow up, you have like the natural like, oh man, a girl's gonna like me later, like that type of stuff. But that only was just for a very short, brief period of time, and then the rest of my life was just childhood fun, and like it became a cool thing so fast that we would prank people. We would like pretend like we got hit by something or like fell off a scooter
Oh
or
my gosh.
something like that. And so it became such a fun thing. And I grew up in Eugene, Oregon, and so it's a smaller community. And I was so fortunate to grow up with people that we really got to share life together. And so it wasn't ever an obstacle, really, outside of like personal or painful issues. In life, it was a really cool thing. And so when I came out here to California, I was born in Burbank. My family moved to Eugene when I was 1.
Gotcha.
I came back right after high school. When I was in high school, I worked at a skydiving business with a family that I lived with in Oregon. And so for about 7 years, I worked at a drop zone. So we would skydive and learn to make videos.
Oh, cool.
And I was really intrigued by being behind camera after a while of learning how to make these videos. And they had the old school editing stuff. So it was like super,
Yeah.
It was nonsense. And but I really appreciated the process, and so I started to do that more on my own time. And I got 2nd place in some little festival thing in Eugene, and so I got to come out here. I started to go to school at the Art Institute of LA right after high school, and I hated it. And that's just me personally. I didn't like it. There was like key cards to get in the doors, marble floors, like the whole thing just started off just not so fun.
Okay.
And it just wasn't my feel. I come from this home fun town, and then you're into this huge process with a lot of money, and you're paying out thousands and thousands of dollars to go to school just to try this video stuff. And
Gotcha.
so right as I was like 2.5 weeks into school, my neighbor was an editor for American Dreams, and it was an older show, and I think it ran for like 2 seasons. I was with Brittany Snow, and she's like, hey, my script needs an amputee. You're an amputee. I'd love to bring you in. And they just need an amputee soldier, like just to be laying in bed bloody and that. And I was like, sure, yeah. And they paid me a few $100, and it was union. And of course I didn't know what that was even. And then they called me back again and again. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to say nix on school because I don't like it anyways. And I'm paying a lot of money. And these people are paying me money to be an amputee. I think that pretty much fits the bill of who I am.
Yeah.
And man, it's just their crew kept calling me back, and it just became this, thing. and I just wrote it out for a while, and then it started becoming into a profession. Like I was getting better at it. I was getting more familiar with being on film, being on camera, the process of acting. And so I don't come from a theater background or an actor's background where I'm a thespian and I have all this experience. I kind of just got thrown in the mix.
I just want to comment on something. Yeah. Some people might say, "Oh, well, that's luck that happened to you." The you know, like, "Hey, can you be in this film?" Or, you know what I mean? Or the TV show. Was it TV show or film? Excuse me.
It was a TV show.
TV show. Yeah. I think, in my opinion, it's because of your positivity.
Well, in openness to use whatever it is. If I was a bigger guy, like let's say a fat person or someone who's overweight, but I was comfortable in my weight, and a casting was looking for someone who was comfortable in that weight, I could be cast for that weight. You know what I'm saying? But if I was so upset at life because of my weight, like I would never be able to be in that door, you know, because I'd be pushing things away instead of saying yes to things.
You hit it right on the head. It's your positivity and openness to what you have, your given circumstances, and turning it to your advantage.
Yeah.
It's the biggest.
But that like putting that out there is like it attracts people to you. Like that's what I think of the like when you put out positive vibes, you get back positive vibes. It's like it's a weird energy network level. I don't know. You know what I mean?
But it has to be real too. You can't just put out positive vibes to get something out of other people. You know what I mean? Because people do that here. They're like, "Oh, I want to be so positive, but I really secretly want you to help me somehow."
Well, two things. Don't expect just because you're putting out positive vibes, nothing bad's going to happen to you either. Because that's not. You can't just start driving on the highway swerving. It's like, it's a great day. You know what I mean?
Positive vibes.
But like, I forgot the second point now. I totally forgot. Openness, yes. No, that didn't help either. I literally lost my train of thought. But going back to, you started developing these relationships with, you started getting more familiar with the business and everything. Did you see your life ever ending up on this route?
Okay, so when I was a kid, like 7 years old, and I remember this as clear as day, I wanted to be on Saved by the Bell so bad. All right, and that sounds corny, but man, I was like crying. I remember on the couch, I want to be like Zach Morris, and I mean, you're 7, of course you're gonna act like that. But so I think a portion of that, I always wanted to be on TV. I think everybody always wants to be on TV at some point. You know what I mean? Maybe not, but from my perception, like of course everybody wants to be in a movie or on TV or something at some point. And I got to work with both of them. I got to work with the guy who played Zach Morris and Mario Lopez on some stuff, and it was just neat. It was one of those surreal experiences. Like I remember being here in my living room when I was a little kid, saying I want to work with these guys, and it totally happened. Like, I was in Oregon when Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and I said, if they make another one, I'll be a one-legged pirate. And I got on Pirates of the Caribbean 3, and I was a one-legged pirate.
That's awesome.
It's just
how did you do that? Was it through your reps or?
So we go back to. People automatically want the spotlight positions. I came in as whatever. That first show was an extra position where they just needed a fake leg. So I just came as a humble, like, we talk about service. Like, I don't need the high places. I just want to have some fun. You know what I mean? Like, some people are so career-driven or so, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, they want the fame. They want the title. They want that so bad that they lose the reason of why people do it in the first place. You know, the fun, the passion, and man, I was just out having fun, and I just continued to have fun, and I'm able to say no, I'm able to say yes to the things that I find fun, or, that represent my character well enough.
There's a confidence about that, too, whenever you know what you want and your limits. And your borders, Well,
that's actually, I think we talked the last time we hung out about, like, you don't take every opportunity that comes your way.
No, not at all. In fact, it was almost discouraging, and God bless my reps. I'm represented by RPM. And they are so good to me. It's ridiculous. Because I say no far more than I say yes to the work that they send me. The auditions even. I says, no, I'm not even going to audition for that. There's a content battle. And it's like I'm very family-oriented. I love my family. I love my niece and nephew. I love my wife. I love my sense of community, the people that I'm closest to. And I find that I'm in this business more for the people rather than to be on screen or to be an actor or to be anything else. Like, I guess my avenue is just different. I enjoy acting because I get to be around a lot of people. And I like people, so people is my business. It's not really acting.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the avenue where I get to express myself to people. And the content, I'm shooting myself in my fake foot here, but it's I don't like a lot of the content that comes out over the airwaves now. You know what I mean? Or like or the stuff that you put on TV. Like we've taken treasure and exchanged it for trash. Like we're not contributing to humanity anymore in a positive way all the time. It's like we just push out a lot of garbage, and it's, you know, girls will take off their clothes just to be on TV for 15 seconds, and it's like, well, what are you doing? Like, you just sacrificed a whole lot of stuff, and it's like, man, what a shame. Like, I don't think that that's what this industry should be about, and so I have to say no to a lot.
It gets you know, it gets soaked up. You know, there's people, there are millions of people watching this stuff too.
Yeah, it's the biggest. I mean, and I work for, you know, the government in some fashions. Like, it's one of the biggest tools that you can sway a population of people just by what you put on a commercial. And it's dangerous stuff. It's not just.
And the loyalty with some of these programmings. Like, I was lucky enough to work on the NCIS shows, NCIS LA. Their fan base is the most loyal fan base I've ever seen. It's more loyal than like teenage girls. Like, I think it's like, you know what I mean? Like teenage girls and then like NCIS CSI show fan base. They're pretty much the same.
Isn't that like the most of like the elderly community of Florida
I did
too?
NCIS with Mark Harmon. There was a whole amputee episode. It was the big veterans house.
Stand-up guy.
He's great. But you're right. There is a huge following just of, and that show doesn't promote a bunch of nonsense. You know?
No. It's about, you know, usually it's fighting for what's right.
Yeah.
Those are like, well, I guess it's not really serial type show, right? It's not a serialized series.
I don't know.
I've been locked in my room watching Law and Order SVU for like on Netflix, just nonstop, and it's crazy because they're all based off of like real real cases and stuff. So I'm always just like, this is amazing. This is like such good writing.
There's a weird thing whenever you're in Netflix and you're like trying to pick an SVU episode to watch, and you're like, yeah, this one sounds good, and it's like the most horrific stuff ever. You're like, it's so weird. How do you stay? You seem like such a positive guy, man. Seriously, like, how do you stay in that mindset? And I mean, obviously, I would assume that, you know, sometimes you're like, you falter a little bit, and you know, life gets hard, or for whatever circumstance. But how do you get back on track? Because, again, that's what I wanted to talk about earlier. Energy. I listened to something on NPR that was talking about there is no bad or good energy. It's our perspective on it. So you just take whatever life has at you and you manipulate it.
And you go with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do you do that?
I think I do that in several ways. Like I said, my sense of community is really strong. That comes first, you know, my family, my community, my friends. Like, that's definitely most important. I'm a Christian, and so I think you know, where I'm at in my Christianity and how Jesus kind of transforms my life and how it kind of shape my worldviews in a sense of his heart for humanity, you know what I mean? And I like to stay on that more so, and it keeps me grounded, so that way whenever my brain gets off track into wanting acting more than I want my family, or acting or some prestigious position more than something else, it's an automatic gauge back of, wait a second, does this line up with really who I am and really who I'm trying to be? Because you're right, sometimes we just kind of go off and unintentionally we just get wrapped up in the grind of things, or like jobs will keep coming kind of quickly, and then you're like, wow, this is, and then you just get caught up in this hamster wheel over here, and you're just like, oops, you know, let's dive back.
I love hearing that, because this is my opinion. You can disagree with me, whoever's listening, that's fine. But I found that when people have a very strong connection, that they will not falter to a spiritual avenue. Whether that be for Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, a small sect, or a nature type of, you know, spirituality, or one God, whatever that is that promotes love, like not harming people, positivity, you know? I'm not talking about extremism. That's not what I'm talking about. No.
That doesn't promote that.
But when there is like a very spiritual aspect to a person's life, and it's intertwined with discipline and a love for it, those people are usually the most positive and most serviceable people. And even if bad things happen to them, there's always...
Because it's not about yourself anymore.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
selfless,
there's something always above you, and if that's your heart for people, then Jordan's more important. His needs are more important than my needs right now. So I'm going to come up under and serve him so that he
Bad
can
example.
get, you know what I mean? Yeah.
My needs are always more
not
important
in his
than
room
everyone
always
else's.
watching SVU. I think he can make his own popcorn. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
Do
great.
other things. Actually, I work on scripts while I have TV on all the time, so that's how I
Web
roll.
of lies. I'm kidding.
I don't do anything. I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Your work on American Sniper. I want to talk about that briefly. What exactly did you play in that part?
Again, I really value when I get to do amputee roles because I get to meet extraordinary people and I get to not only tell my story but motivate them in where they're at in life, because it's easy to just talk to people and you'll see when you talk to people, you'll see what's triggering, what's going on in their lives, you know, and I can use my disability as a disadvantage to always cater to something that emotionally they're in need of, you know what I'm saying, to encourage, to uplift, to build up and stuff like that. So I always say yes, not always, but for the most part I say yes, given the content. And so I got asked to go be an extra on American Sniper. And I know a lot of amputees. We don't all hang out in a club, but I just, you know, I know a lot of amputees through the advocates work that we do, and I make a lot of good friends that way. And they needed more amputees for like a veterans hospital scene.
Right. So
they're like, hey, we're having trouble finding amputees. I was like, great, I'll bring 5 or 6. And they were so like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. That's so helpful. Thank you. So we get there, and Clint Eastwood was directing, and he's like your cool grandpa. And he's just one of the neatest guys. He's very relaxed. Like, all the stuff that you hear about him in Hollywood is very true. It's just like, all right, let's do this. Okay, great. That was good. What do you guys think? Okay, let's move on. I mean, it's very like, it's the most relaxed thing. So it made it so comfortable. And Bradley Cooper, again, was just the nicest guy ever. But anyways, they totally just straight up gave me a contract and they said, here, have a conversation with Bradley Cooper and you guys just go at it. And we did. And, it was awesome. And so I got a couple days worth of work on that. I got to meet a whole bunch of people, and it was just an extraordinary experience. The movie turned out fantastic. Definitely everyone go see it. It's heart-wrenching.
I really want to go see it.
Heart-wrenching.
I'm big anti-war. I feel like it's a last resort kind of thing, you know. But I like one of the reviews. It's a war and anti-war movie at the same time.
It is.
And so that to me is like, it's so important. It goes back to what we put out as filmmakers or producers.
Yeah.
It's so important. What message are we sending to people? And that's okay. So, some stuff's going on in the background for our listeners. It's all good though. I get easily distracted. I'm a squirrel, but that's why I want to go see it, because it show, I mean, does it show both sides to it?
It really does, man. It shows the family element of what happens psychologically to people who are really go through some hard stuff, see some things, experience some things that normal, you know, humanity doesn't really see that side of things, and that yet they are going and doing these things, and it shows.
I think and I'm guilty of this, we've made war and fighting seem so cool in the movies, when in reality...
It's really not that.
It's hell. It really is. I don't want to talk about too much of my personal experiences with connections with war, but like, it's the worst thing that I can't think of a worse thing almost than that's happened to people.
You're literally trying to kill other people. I mean, that's.
And there are worse things that go through that.
Yeah.
Like to be in that mindset of trying to shoot and harm and kill somebody else, you have no idea who that is. I mean, it's really heart-wrenching, and a lot of the movies we see and stuff we see, unfortunately, it's like making it look cool and the hero, when in reality...
That's not really a heroic thing in a lot of circumstances. Sometimes it's needed. Yeah,
but the real heroes are when it's like saving, like, I don't know if you've ever read this book, it's called like Ultimate Badass or something like that, and it's like throughout history, like warriors... And even like current warriors, even like Vietnam War, World War II, or the Iraq War, like these people who are like, they're like pinned down and they save their whole unit, and you know, they're defending their unit at the same time, and it's like the most unbelievable, like intense situation. You can't believe they survive. But those are the heroes where they're like totally selfless, and unfortunately, we don't hear a lot of those. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many, I'm sure, and it's just how could you? You know, it's like you'd have to write a book on every person. You know,
Yeah.
because at some point you're a hero. You know, like you do something.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
and we just don't hear about it.
Yeah.
And it's usually why they're a hero. It's because it's selfless, and then you realize, man, war is a pretty shitty place to be.
Yeah. Well, and again, the kind of the backbone is like, hey, your life is more valuable than mine. I'm gonna stand in front of a bullet for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in this to protect you. I'm not in this to protect me. So my whole route of service is for this guy. You know.
And then usually on the other side, I mean, there are always exceptions, but like a lot of times when people are at war with each other, the other side's thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Or worse. Yeah. And that's another cool part about being an amputee and what I do. I work with the Defense Department as a contractor for different companies, and so I help train soldiers before they deploy. So in 2009, a lady who worked for the state who used to cast me in a lot of stuff for disabilities, amputee roles and things like that, she saw that there was a need for amputee actors in my age range to portray getting my leg blown off in war game style scenarios.
Yeah.
Well, so I get there. The program wasn't that great, but what we have now is just way over the top. So we have these fake cities built out in the middle of nowheres.
Yeah.
So we're just unnamed places and stuff like that. And I will get dressed up as a contractor overseas or where, you know what I mean? I'll look like a contractor. And I'll go out on missions with a unit of guys. And so we'll have a lot of FaceTime. We'll have a lot of travel time and stuff like that. And obviously, like, I'm a below-the-knee amputee. I don't walk with a limp. I've had it my whole life. So you can't actually tell that I have a fake leg. And so if I'm fully geared up, nobody knows. And so at some point during the missions, there's a pyrotechnic team, a makeup team, an explosion goes off. I'll be going in one building to clear it, and the whole building explodes. I come crawling out, my leg's missing, I'm screaming. There's all sorts of stuff. So it's like a shock value, like, hey, I just been hanging out with this guy for 5 days, and now his leg's really blown off in these crazy scenarios. Like, what do we do? You know, we have to jump on it and react. And
that's intense, man. That's such a great thing you do.
It's such a. You sent me a video of it once. It's
gnarly.
It's
So
crazy.
when we say it out loud, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like they're making these mock things, and you know, sometimes we're the last people they see before they deploy. Like, you know, I get to train with like elite groups of people where we go out and do missions in a skyscraper in the middle of downtown. And nobody knows about it. You know, it's a really neat, awesome opportunity.
That's amazing, man.
It's bizarre.
And your wife does the makeup for it,
my
right?
wife's a makeup artist, and she held a contract with us for quite some time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's an amazing service you do. Thank you so much. Like that. I mean, people don't realize there's so many other nuts and bolts to everything. Whenever you know. We are shortly running out of time. Any current projects you're working on, or?
We got some people shaking their heads here.
No,
we got some more time.
We got some.
I misread that.
All right.
But yeah, so right now with your agents and managers, how often do they send you out on stuff? And percentage-wise, would you say like that you go, you know what, I don't think this is worth it?
I'd say out of 10 times that they send me, I might go out for 3, maybe, depending. You know, because some of the stuff, it's just in the script, it's nonsense. It's like, all right, but when it comes to the amputee stuff, I get called from all sorts of angles in the industry because it's not just my agent that knows about it. I've been working with people since, you know, 2005, and so for the last 10 years built up relationships. Hey, we want you to come out for this. Okay, so I just accept phone calls from different people, especially when it's, you know, involving the amputation stuff, the amputee roles and stuff like that. And then you start to work within communities of people, and you just continue to work on projects with them, you know, because they're your family, you're fun, and you always work together, and so you kind of stay in these tight knit groups, and there's just a lot of them, and so you work a lot. Yeah, which is really fun.
Sorry.
No. I'm curious. Then, like, you know, you don't come from an acting background. How do you act? I mean, I'm guessing it's a very natural process for you. I mean, you said you had a scene with Bradley Cooper, right?
Yeah.
So was it just you guys are just talking?
It's literally like this. Like, yeah, we just shoot the breeze. Like, just talk. I mean, I was supposed to be a one-legged guy in a veterans hospital. I've been in so many veterans hospitals and been a one-legged guy for 29 years. Like, it's pretty easy to act like that. So I don't really have to branch out of the norm of stuff. Like, I'm up for The Walking Dead in oops. No, it's not that. Just I had some opportunities to do some auditions for them for a potential role in the tail end of this upcoming season, and nothing's panned out of it yet, but it was the most extensive process that I've been through dialogue-wise, and they commingled it with, you know, some pieces of my physical nature.
Oh, wow.
And so it's so there's times where you do have to prepare. You really have to like put in the work. Memorization was a hard thing for me. You know, I'm not used to memorizing. You know, I'm not a trained actor, so I'm not used to that. I like to say my words, not these words, because these words don't fit the way I would say them. And so to have to recycle my brain and trying to learn how to do that was difficult for me. And so, you know.
Yeah. That's something I don't even think about anymore for, like, memorizing lines, just because we just do it, you know. I just do it so much now that it just becomes a thing, and then you forget, you look back at some of the stuff you memorized, you're like, oh, that was 4 pages I just memorized. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, it definitely becomes easier. I mean, in 2008 versus now, like, I used to be like, I gotta memorize 5 lines. Like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, how am I gonna remember this? I remember one time I did a short film and it ended up being really cool. It was called Revelations, and I could not get this one line right. And I didn't have a ton of dialogue, but I had enough to where I was getting confused on this one line. So I literally wrote it on this giant piece of paper and stuck it behind the camera on the back of the thing. And man, I totally cheated. And
hey, if it works, it works.
It worked.
What are they called? Cue cards? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cue cards are in our
It
industry.
was just a giant cue card. It was fun.
That's great, man.
So what is, do you have anything else that you are, this is your shameless promotion spot.
Okay.
Is there anything you're working on or want to promote that, you know, you
Yeah,
want to tell us
absolutely.
about?
All right. So there's a couple things. Some have to do with acting and some don't. Right now we have, so the military job that we have, this little community of people, the makeup artists are called KBZ Effects. One of the girls was on Face Off, the sci-fi makeup show, and so they actually wanted to take what we do for the military and what we do for all the makeup events and stuff like that, our team, and make a reality show out of it. And so they started, and it's doing really well with the companies that have it right now. And so it's going to be called Blood House Girls. I'm not sure exactly network-wise what's going to happen with it, but it's fun. I just did a Reebok campaign. And so hopefully that gets picked to show a lot, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But they gave me free gear, so I mean I wear it a lot now. Like, so I got shirts and
those
shoes,
your shoes?
and yeah.
Can I see them?
Yeah, these are the ones.
I'm looking for new shoes. That's why. That's the only.
They
reason.
weigh like nothing. These are the CrossFits.
Oh, those actually look really cool.
And it's helpful. Free stuff is nice. It's
You say
it's
Reebok?
a bonus. Reebok.
Maybe Reebok can, you know,
Sponsor
give us some
our show and
shoes.
Yeah,
we can throw our
let's-
feet up in the air
Let's do it. Or foot up. Yeah, there we go.
We'll do the whole podcast with just feet.
with just feet.
That'd be an awkward episode.
That'd be a
We'd
horrible
probably
episode.
get some foot fetish crossover or something.
And it would probably smell disgusting in this room.
Can I just say, I don't know what the PC term is. The fake leg.
Yes, fake leg is what I use. Yeah,
Fake leg. It looks fucking badass.
Yeah,
Can
there's another
Oh,
plug.
wow.
So there's a company in Canada. A tattoo artist lost his leg, and so he started designing covers for him. It's called All L's. So like all
Yeah.
L's, like the
amazing.
letter L. So All L's. You can look them up, but they make prosthetic covers, and they sent me this as a gift,
that's
just to
nice.
wear it around. It's a big night with angel
we-
wings and.
Can we showcase that? Can I take a photo?
yeah,
of that?
absolutely.
That's amazing.
So and it
That's
lights
like
up.
A really
So there's a
badass
battery in
design.
it. The whole thing lights up and glows.
Dude,
It's-
it looks fucking badass.
They did such a good job. It's incredible.
That's so cool.
Do you watch anime at all?
No.
Berserk. Anybody in here watch Berserk, the anime series?
You're the
Okay,
one-
then
you're the
I'm
one
all
here.
alone.
You're the
For our
sorry.
listeners who watch Berserk, in the very first episode, you know how he has the arm that's cut off, and it's just replaced with this big metal arm, and then there's a cannon that flips down, and he fights demons.
I feel like that
It's
character is
pretty
in a lot of anime.
cool. No, he's a very original character, believe it or not. Anyway,
So-
we digress into my anime world.
Ah.
So you're married too.
I am married, yes.
That's great,
Yes,
and
thank you.
I'm assuming it seems like you have a very good support system.
Yeah, it's nice. I love my wife.
Great.
So,
Any young ones? Children.
I thought you meant wives. I was like, bro, only one wife. She's 26. She's gorgeous.
This is the Mormon podcast.
Yeah, no, I have a niece and nephew that take up a lot of our time. We haven't
cool.
we haven't had kids yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'd like them though, just in case she was listening. I'd like them sometime soon. I want to be a dad. You know, I just I'm excited for that process in life. Again, acting's not my life. Life is my life, and acting's just an awesome, fun bonus that I get to do and incorporate my lifestyle, and that's makes it fun.
It's funny. It's just like we had Porter Kelly on for the last episode, and she was just saying like her experience with acting too is it's very similar with. You can do everything, you can surround yourself with the industry, but you have to live your life, and by living your life, prime example is like you were saying, like you don't do the whole thespian thing, but you seem like a person that just goes out and lives his life and does as much as he possibly can to absorb people around him and everything, and like that just portrays so well and it shows with the advancement in your career.
Actors need that. Actors need that.
Well, because not to cut you off, but actors need it because they come out here and that's all they end up wanting to do. They think that that's the key, and it's like, dude, you've missed it. Yeah. Like, you've missed it.
Yeah.
Awesome. If we can find you online, Twitter, or where can we?
Shoot, I mean, I got an Instagram. It's just my name, Anthony Jennings, but I do put a lot of our show stuff up, our military stuff, so I'm able to keep some photos online of the missions that we go on. The blood work for the amputation stuff for the missions when we do that stuff for the military. Some of the shows, my family life. See who I am.
If you're a producer or a project coordinator and you want to book Anthony, RPM is your
RPM.
Yeah.
And also the Amputees of Hollywood what's the website?
Amputees in Hollywood is a good network of us. So I'm on that also. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. It's such an honor to have you on. Thank you for everything.
It's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll be right back. The Resistance is the best improv show I have seen in LA. It's an action-adventure film performed live on stage, completely improvised, fully scored. That's right, there's music that goes along with it. I have personally seen the show, and you will laugh your butt off and feel like a kid again when you see it live. You can find them online at www.resistancecomedy.com, also on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Every Sunday at 9 p.m. at Comedy Sports at 733 Seaward Street in Hollywood. Again, that's at Comedy Sports every Sunday at 9 p.m. in Hollywood. Don't miss out on some of the best live action comedy entertainment in LA. Again, that's resistancecomedy.com. Welcome back to Actors Anonymous. With us, we have two students from the UCLA Extension program, Ripsime Babadjanian and Nastassia Vuursteen.
Yeah. You're going to pay for this. That
was pretty good, right?
That was actually not bad, but the first name was a total mess up.
What did I say?
Ripsime, and then...
Ripsime.
That's it, mate. That's it.
You know what it is? I didn't add the extension, the little accent
like the
mark
accent
over
on the E or whatever.
That's Jordan's fault. Yeah,
you're fired.
I'm fired. Ladies, you're at the UCLA Extension program. Currently still in it?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. Just for our viewership, for the people watching the podcast on streaming right now, you are the lovely Ripsime, right?
Yes, mate.
And you are Nastassia.
Yes.
Such wonderful names, beautiful names. And as soon as I get them, they're gonna flow a lot more beautifully.
Such a charmer, mate.
We're recording on Valentine's Day, and it's not as big as maybe because it's Valentine's Day. I seem like a charmer. So this is taking a weird turn.
Don't know what's happening.
Let's talk about the UCLA Extension program. What is it exactly, and what are you guys doing in it, Ripsime?
The acting program. It's 12 classes, I believe. 12 classes. I mean, they're all like, it's amazing because they give you a lot of freedom as to like what you can pick. And say, for instance, like in the year that I've been taking it, I've been really lucky to take like music as well, some music production classes, and like some like, and also like taking Meisner and like Stanislavski, and just like a variation of stuff you can pick.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, there's some like things that you have to like take, of course, but what's cool about it is it's like kind of made for the person that's taking it, so you can kind of pick to make your own kind of,
Yeah. For you, Nastassia?
Yeah, I started with the entertainment certificate. So, and then I found we had to do an acting class because it's just basically everything, and I fell in love with it. So I was like, well, maybe I think I might do the acting instead. So I finished the entertainment studies, and I'm still like, I'm almost done with the acting one. But yeah, like she said, it's amazing. It gives you an opportunity because it's from 7 till 10 at night. So you have during the day to work on whatever you want to do. If you're an actress or if you want to work in the entertainment industry as a casting director, assistant, or that kind of stuff, it gives you the opportunity.
Yeah, that's the part that's really cool. Yeah. Like you have the day to go to auditions, and so yeah, that's really.
What made you choose the UCLA Extension program for your as far as your choice for your career?
For me, the name UCLA just has it's recognized in Europe as well, and it's very, very big. So yeah, that was for me like the biggest. I was like, oh, UCLA, I'd like to have that on my resume. So yeah.
I mean, honestly, for me, it was like I wasn't even like thinking about. I love how my answer's like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about it. It just happened. But yeah, I mean, I was planning on. You know, going to some schools, initially like going to New York. I just really wanted to go to the States. But like things happened and I just ended up like going to LA was the opportunity like presented itself to me. And for me, I think I really just wanted to have my own experiences, like hands-on, like during the day I like was taking other acting classes. I was getting involved in like comedy, improv stuff. Right. And there's so much of that in LA. And so when my friend told me about the program, I'm like, that's amazing. Like, okay, LA, this is happening. I'm just going to go and do my thing. And like, yeah, the program just really suited itself around.
Right. Yeah. Where in Europe are you both from?
I'm from England. I'm just about outside of London, England.
And I'm from Holland, Amsterdam.
Holland. Okay.
Netherlands.
The Netherlands, yeah.
You both have beautiful accents.
Thank you.
See, I was gonna say that, but then I would be like, well, he was already like, you guys have lovely accents. Where are you from, ladies?
I know, yeah.
It's Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day. What are you guys doing later? You're it's okay. Some of your biggest struggles coming out here and starting your careers, you're at the very beginning of your acting careers. So what obstacles are you noticing?
Well, actually, like from what I was saying before, like when I was like, oh, I wanted to go to New York. Actually, I was going to do something completely. But I mean, I have friends that live out in New York and I've been a few times. So for me, actually, had I moved there and experienced the acting scene over there, because it would be ridiculous to deny that there's nothing going on out there, it was more comfortable in a way. But LA, there was nothing. Like, I didn't know anybody. When I moved out here, I didn't have a place to live. I still don't know how to drive. And I think, like, in terms of, like, my experiences out here, it's been so fresh and so new and so different to my life back in London. And, like, back, even just compared to New York, it's just so different that, like, my whole kind of life and changed. And with that, like, in a way, without sounding ridiculous, but, like my art changed in a sense. Like, for instance, like creating music is different because you're in a completely different environment, or like you feel like, I don't know, like more of, you're experiencing new things. So I think I had to be like stronger, and I became more like fearless and like going to things and applying for auditions and doing that. So it kind of gave me.
Absolutely. You're out of your comfort level. And for a lot of artists, that's when we find our best work. Especially that. And so I think it was definitely a smart choice to go somewhere where you didn't know anybody and then find more of yourself than you probably would have found if you just went to New York.
Exactly. Or just did something.
For you?
Yeah, for me, well, it's completely different because I started just a year ago with my acting, so I had like nothing. So I think this is the best place to be in LA because there's classes, schools, like everything's here. If you want to start, a lot of student movies, and a lot of good student movies that you can use as footage for your reels and stuff.
Absolutely.
So yeah, UCLA has helped me a lot in that sense to be like push me into certain ways that I didn't make mistakes like a lot of other people might have done. So for me, the hardest thing now at the moment is that I am a foreign person. So I'm on this OPT, which you get when you're 1 year. If you finish your certificate at UCLA, you get a 1 year working visa on your student visa, and it's amazing because then you can apply for an agency and that kind of stuff. But still, it's not recognized by a lot of people, so it's still hard. So it's not like you think, oh, I can work now, I can do everything. It's still like maybe 15% you can do.
How big is the class size? Usually, is it fairly small?
Yeah, it really varies. Like, you know, you could be like 20 people, 15, and then for say
the lecture ones.
Lecture ones. So we did like post-production and pre-production, which was really cool because they actually make you do that as an acting student to realize like
the business side of it.
Exactly, like learn what the first AD does, second AD does, like everything around like the film industry, and it makes you appreciate the amount of time and energy that goes into it. And like, so those are like 100 people, 200 people in lecture halls and stuff.
Oh yeah. That's actually a pretty good class size. I'm talking about the other classes, like 15 to 20.
100 and 200.
No, but for lecture courses, I mean, you know,
it's the same in
they
any
don't
university.
need small,
No,
you know.
exactly.
But like for 15 and 20, I think those are great sizes for acting courses, especially. The smaller, the better. Yeah. Always.
What's great about it too, we've talked with the people over there too, and it seems like it's very beneficial. Obviously, accommodating a schedule for someone who has to have a day job or whatnot, but also, it's not like a full, full course load. You pick and choose, right? And it's much more convenient, both financially for actors too, to be able to not have to pay. It's per class, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's a really great program for anyone that's looking to advance their career and maybe doesn't want to, it's a big battle right now for a lot of people who want to go into acting, and especially with,
it's an expensive career.
Yeah, and to dedicate a 4-year degree to acting is something that it's very expensive.
It's different, and it's very different from most career choices, because whenever I audition, they're like, okay, what type of master's program did you get in acting? No, that's not. It's more about what you learn and the quality of the stuff that you get from your classes. And so, I mean, I've heard good things. I mean, do you guys feel like you're benefiting greatly from those classes?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot as well from like what you take of it. Like the teachers are like, some of the teachers I've had in those classes, like, when I like finish completely, and if there's a handful of teachers that like make me want to cry when I think about them, because they're like the loveliest people. Like anytime you like need anything, if you need any advice on anything, like anything like that, they like, some of them have become like real mentors to me. So in a sense, like
oh, cool.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say, but
no. You hit upon it. I mean, it's important. I mean, there's mentorship outside of the class too, which I think is so nice and so rare these days, because time is money, especially in LA. So if they're willing to help out a little bit after class, that's very helpful.
I mean, it's like you could go to class and like be like, right, I'm done, and then leave, and that's it. But then if you're like, I want to work on this and I want to work on that, like you can call them or text them, whatever and be like, I'm having problems with this, or I'm having problems with these auditions. And like, I have friends that are working on their short films and stuff, and asked my acting teacher to help coach the actors on set and stuff like that, which was really cool.
Yeah, I've kept a lot of people like in contact from that as well. Like I finished classes, and like when I was looking for an agency, like there's a one class that I literally tell everyone to take, and it's called The Working Actor, and it's for me, I learned so much in that class that is unbelievable. Like I knew how to get my headshows done. I knew how to approach an agent. I knew just certain stuff that you either just know by trial and error, or someone tells you and it's just like, well, is it true or is it not true? And like he literally says after the course is done, if you take my course, I'm forever there for you. So if you ever want me to look at a contract, if you ever want me to do anything, if you want information about an agency, I'll give it to you.
That's amazing.
And it's goldmine, because I had a couple of agencies there. I was like, okay, I don't know who they are really, and I just text him, and he goes, well, looks at the contract and goes, well, this and this I don't find, maybe you should negotiate this and this and this, and it's all for free. It's just, he just says, I want to help you,
great.
and it's amazing. I mean, there's not a lot of, I don't think schools or places that they give this kind of extra.
And what's cool about that is actually, like, I had a friend that came from India, and she's English, whatever, but she came to India just to take that class for 3 months, and she went back to India, and she was doing Bollywood and a lot of other films and stuff, and then she, like, she's coming back to America with her, like, entertainment visa, whatever, and she just came to America to take that class. Like, she came to LA to really experience, okay, I want to be in this industry, like, what do I need to learn? And he, like, you know, and in those classes, he tells, because at first I was a bit like, because you have to take it in your certificate, and I was a bit like, I don't really want to take this, because, you know, when you hear about, like, workshops with, like, casting director, and you're like, oh, I don't really, but literally, like, he tells you, okay, like, this stuff is bullshit, like, that person's bullshit, like, don't do this, don't do that, like, he's literally like a father figure, so it's kind of like, wow.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's great. You're getting such good direction at this program. Do you find yourself ever wondering, like, I mean, would both of you like to stay here in LA?
Love to, the opportunity's there.
I mean, we always have to do a plan B and a plan C sometimes. So, you know, if you do have to go back to your respective points of origin.
Well, they're not that far, right? I mean, we're right just across each other. So.
I mean, what's the acting scene like in Holland?
It's not big, but it's growing, so that's a good thing. So I'm moving back in beginning of June this year, so it's very soon already. Yeah, I don't want to go because I love it here because everything is just like the classes and everything is just available, and you don't have that in Holland.
Yes.
It's very theater based, so it's not very TV orientated. But I'm just hoping with the resume that I've built here that when I go to Holland, I can just straight away do auditions and work. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. So I'm already like talking to people because Holland is a small country and everyone kind of knows everyone. So I'm hoping that when I get back, just do some coffee and drinks with a couple of people, and maybe who knows? If they like my acting, that they might be like, well, you know what? Why don't you come join this? So we'll see. That's great. Cool. Keep the positive spirit, right?
Yeah. We were just talking about it. Our theme for this episode is perspective, and how there really isn't any good or bad energy. It's all your perspective on the energy that comes towards you.
I always believe if you, because I'm a figure skater, I was a professional figure skater for a very long time, and that was my passion my whole life.
Oh, wow.
And at one point I stopped that, and it was like, okay, what am I going to do now? It's like, that was my whole life. And then I found this acting, and it just somehow, if you never knew what you really wanted and you find it, it's just like, okay, this is what I got to do. So even if I don't make a great living out of it, it's still something I want to do the rest of my life. So I'll find a way. So I think,
How about for you? If you have to go back to just south of London.
just a little bit. Like, just a little bit.
Just south of London.
Just down there.
South of the Thames?
South of the Thames. Yeah, but sort of like if any of my friends are listening, man, like they're gonna be like, you're an idiot, because all my friends, like, they actually live in South London, and they'll be like, you don't live in South London, you live in the country, and you're from London.
You've changed. You went to America. LA's changed you.
And now look at you. You're a liar. But anyway, I live in the country, so I don't know what that's got to do with anything, really. Exactly. I was just like, let's put it out there.
Well, like, as far as when the program is over, are you planning to stay in LA to work to do your? Yeah, you enjoy.
Yes.
You're planning to stay.
Yes, I want to. I get a year work visa in May. For a year, so catch me while you can, ladies and gentlemen.
Get that on one visa.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so I can legally work out here. Like right now, the thing that's annoying is that you go and they're like, oh, what's your visa thing, blah blah, and because I'm a student and I'm not American and blah 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 blah, I'm not actually supposed to like work out here. So I've just been like studying, doing my thing, and like, just honing in on my craft. But like, once I get that. Blah blah blah, here for a year, see what happens, really just go for it full force, and if I go back, I'll just exactly what Nastassia said. I didn't want to repeat it verbatim, but like
you want to repeat it.
Well, as far as like with a visa for working as an actor, that must be a difficult thing to obtain, because usually when you have to have a steady income, a steady job. Is it like, what is the process as an actor for you to try to obtain that and keep that? And did anyone at your institution tell you like what the best approach might be for that?
Well, that class we had with the Adam Lieblein class, that's where he even had a lawyer. Did he have it with you as well? A special lawyer comes who's like I think her rate is like 99%. She can get you an O1 visa, because that's the visa you can get if you're for an artist. And then I think for acting there's like rules, and for being a director there's rules. So every there within the O1, if I'm saying it correct, I don't know. So don't be like, okay, that girl said it, so it's got to be true.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's you have to get like a certain credibility in order to get it. So if you get preferable, for example, you get like, I was just speaking Dutch. Sorry. If you get
that's awesome
for the Dutch people out there. If you want to get an O1 visa and you want for an actress, you if you do like a national, that straight away gives you. Here you can get the O1 visa. Student work is not seen as it's very hard. So it's not just, and you gotta have, and it's a lot of money. So you gotta put time, effort, money, get like one, or like if you do like a movie that goes to a festival and gets like a award, that's also seen as a very big credit. So
wow.
But it's not easy. It's not just 1, 2, 3, get it.
Definitely not. And it's like funny, like when I moved to LA, like my friends from home were like, "You're famous," and I was like, "I'm not. I moved to LA, and that's about all I did." Do you know what I mean?
If they only knew how many people moved to LA
for
acting,
exactly.
they would be like, okay.
Yeah, it's like the worst thing, you know, because like there's so many people, but actually it's amazing because there's so much open to you.
That's exactly.
So. Yeah.
What was it? What was the one we were talking about that?
Accountability.
Yes.
Oh.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Okay,
Well, as far as like both taking classes and working out here, like how do you hold yourself accountable for your work? Like what is it that keeps you in a steady mindset? A lot of new actors who come out here and start want to hit the ground running, and then you wind up getting in that mentality of like, I'm sure when you came here, like you probably eventually get into the whole, like, you see people being like, LA, let's go to the beach, it's Wednesday. You're like, don't you have work? Like,
exactly.
It's like, how do you hold yourselves to to focus on your career and just stay in a progressive state?
I think that's a very personal thing. It doesn't matter what you do. I think acting is a business, and you have to take it as a business. And I think a lot of people are artists. Of course, you're an artist, and it's an art craft, but it's just so much based on marketing and selling yourself in a certain way. Because, like you said, there's so many people here who want to become an actress or an actor. I mean, every waiter or every Uber driver is an actor or is a, so
yes.
you're not just one of a kind. You're competing all together, and I think in order to really make it in this industry, you have to work for it. And it's not by going to the beach and lying there and hoping you'll meet someone. It's not. I mean, of course, there might be 1% that it works, but I'm not taking it. Well, the thing, I don't know. I think some people see it that way, and I don't want to leave it to chance. I want to work for it, so.
Yeah, you will meet somebody if you go to the beach. Yeah. Maybe not the person you want to meet.
No, exactly. But yeah, I think and that's why I think a lot of people, it sounds really stupid, but yeah, it's I think it's a personal thing. I think if you really want to do it, you're going to be taking those casting workshops, you're going to be meeting the right people, you're going to be getting just going to the right classes, the things that you need to do, you'll do it. And I don't know, maybe one other person goes, well, I like it that way, but I'm taking it this way. So I don't know.
I think like being in the city, like that's so big and so vast, and especially like when I first came here and I like couldn't drive, and I was like, oh my god,
shit.
like getting on the buses and stuff, I was like, I survived. I mean, just like crazy stuff that goes on like on the street, just crazy shit. Like
it's a big city.
It's a fucking massive city. It's so different as well back home. Like it's really such a difference. But honestly, like I personally like really love it, and especially because it allows me to do what I really love to do. And like I think that I met a lot of people and that were like, I'll come to LA and I want to be famous, and that's it. I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's funny because like a lot of people that are renowned or whatever, like because the film industry is here, blah 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 blah, like I really love to do what I fucking love to do. Like, it's nothing to do with anything about, like, fame, shame, or anything like that. That's always a byproduct of anything. If you, and you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Whatever you do,
And I've had a lot of people I know leave because you have to stick it out. You have to work your fucking tits off. I mean, to be honest, like, I just want to be able to, like, live and be alive and do what I love. Like, honestly, that's, good for me. But it really, like, with all it's the things that it offers you, and the city, and everything that comes with it, the good and the bad people, I feel make you like either reaffirm that it is something that you want to do because you put up with all of it and you're still there at the end of the day.
Right.
Or you just pack up your bags and you're like, I'm done. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's like that. It's like, are you willing to... And that's the points where I've been like, I'm still like totally in love with doing what I'm doing.
Well, it seems like both of you have a really good perspective on life, the business, and everything. And I think the extension program at UCLA has helped reaffirm that. And you guys said you're close to graduating, right? Both of you. So,
yeah, mate.
Well, good luck. Congrats. I'm sure you will make it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And if you are you on the interweb, Twitter or Instagram, where people can follow you?
Well, I don't have I had Instagram, then I deleted it. Then I wanted to start up a new Instagram with an alias name just to put up like illustrations and stuff. But then it connected to my personal Facebook. And anyway, point is, no Instagram as of yet, no Twitter. But I have like ripsime.com, like ripsymay.com. And I'm like working on like building up my site and stuff. And you know. God, Facebook, that's so awful to say, but you know, I'm on there to keep, so there we go. There, I'm like, and my personal number, and my email address.
This is my address for fan mail.
And for you?
Yeah, I got a personal website as well. It's just my name, Nastassia Vuursteen, with a lot of U's and a lot of E's and a lot of S's.
Good luck, listeners.
Yeah, I know. Same on Instagram. It's also Nastassia Vuursteen. So
Great. Thanks again, ladies. Such a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Jordan, man, thanks for co-hosting me.
Thanks for being here with your illness and
man,
surviving. You're a trooper.
I couldn't reschedule, so that's why I had to.
Well, we had 5 guests this week. So.
We had a lot of guests. Yeah. So I'm the real hero of the episode.
I don't know why we aren't asking you questions. It should be the other way around.
Jordan Burbank 7. Is that still your Twitter?
Jordan Burbank 7. Yes.
7. That's weird.
I have people closing in on Jordan Burbank's location. I will usurp that before the year's out.
Big thanks to our social media czar, Nikki. You can find her at Nikki952. 592.
You can't do that.
Nikki592. Thanks to GVB Radio, Gabe, especially. He's our sound engineer.
And UCLA Extension.
Yes, big thanks to UCLA Extension
and Anthony Jennings.
Thanks for coming on earlier.
I'm picking up the slack now. Maybe I'm the hero.
And a big thanks to me at We Say Quiche. There's applause. You guys don't. You guys can't hear it, but we've got the headphones. There's applause.
Imagination.
I'm just gonna let it soak in. Okay, and it's over. Thank you to the listeners. Hit us up with questions. Remember, this podcast is for you. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk.